Live from our studio here in Lagos, this is Beyond 100 Days with Nifemi Oguntoye. You can join the conversation right now using the hashtag Beyond 100 Days. Remember to tag at TVC News NG and at Nifemi Oguntoye. We're following updates from Rivers State, the political developments there. We'll begin with the updates from the State House of Assembly that has now said it hasn't received any letter from Governor Siminalayi Fubara indicating his desire to present the 2025 budget. And this is contrary to reports that the governor indeed conveyed his request to make the presentation on the 9th of March. Chairman of the House Committee on Information, NMA George, accused the governor of misleading the public in a bid to tarnish the image of the legislature.
Last week, we were told that on his way to Ogoni for a program, the governor made a stopover at the gate of the House of Assembly quarters to grant an interview to the press. In that interview, he claimed that he had sent a letter to the House of Assembly indicating his intention to visit and present the appropriation bill, a claim we found rather astonishing, as no such letter was received by the House of Assembly. His aides later alleged that they forwarded a letter through WhatsApp to some members of the House, which was also awkward, unprofessional, and embarrassing. As I speak, the social media space is awash with stories about a purported letter from the governor to the House of Assembly expressing his intention to visit the House to present the appropriation bill for the year 2025. Nothing can be further from the truth. We wish to state categorically that there is no such letter before the House of Assembly nor any of its staff. We challenge the governor and his aides to produce an acknowledgement copy of such letter or any evidence that such a letter was sent or received by the House of Assembly. It is absolutely untrue and unfortunate. The general public must, as a matter of importance, ignore such a claim.
But that's not all. The Rivers State House of Assembly has approved a notice of gross misconduct against Governor Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odu. Governor Fubara is accused by the Assembly of reckless and unconstitutional spending of public funds. It's alleged that he hindered or obstructed the operations of the Rivers State House of Assembly, which is an essential function within a democratic government structure. The governor is also accused of making appointments to government positions without following the rules, specifically by ignoring the requirements for screening and confirmation. There are claims also regarding the seizure of salaries and allowances belonging to the Assembly and its officials, including the clerk. The 26 members of the Assembly raised the allegations in 2 letters sent to the Speaker, Martin Amaewhule, and thereafter transmitted to Governor Fubara and his deputy. They said the action was, quote, in compliance with Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, and other extant laws which mandates that such allegations be signed by at least 1/3 of the House members and also specify the particulars of the misconduct. The Speaker must now serve the notices to the governor and his deputy within 7 days. But the coalition of opposition lawmakers is crying foul, criticizing that what he described as impeachment plan against Governor Fubara by members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The lawmakers, in a statement by their spokesperson, Ikenga Ugochinyere, said there is no valid notice served by the state legislators, insisting they are only trying to dodge budget presentation. This reaction is coming against the backdrop of a notice served of alleged misconduct, gross misconduct against Governor Fubara and his deputy. He argued that on March 13, 2025, the governor addressed a letter to present the state's appropriation bill to the Speaker, Martin Amaewhule. Mr. Ugochinyere also said that this latest move by the state lawmakers is aimed at causing crisis and raise tension in the state, with their antics of commencing an illegal impeachment move. Let's bring in Marvin Yobana, who was former caretaker chairman for Kana local government area in Rivers State. Also joining me is lawyer Izugu Anene. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the program this evening.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, viewers.
Let's start with you, Mr. Yobana. As a key ally of Governor Fubara, what do you make of the latest development in Rivers? The lawmakers have now adjourned sitting Sinadai.
Thank you very much for having me once again. This has shown clearly for all Rivers persons and those who know the governor very well that he has chosen the path of peace. Let's not forget that it was on the 28th of February this year that the Supreme Court passed that judgment. And the governor immediately said he was going to implement it fully in compliance to the Supreme Court order. The governor also accepted that judgment and also accepted that he will represent the 2025 budget to the State House of Assembly. The State House of Assembly was communicated by the Secretary to the state government. The Assembly lawmakers came up through their Speaker, Right Honorable Martins Amehule, to say no, that it is the governor who's supposed to write to them directly. The governor did write to them again and asked the 27 lawmakers that he was coming to present the budget. They gave him a 24 hours notice to present the budget and later turned it to a 48 hours notice. Before the expiration of the 48 hours, the governor went to the House of Assembly only for him to be locked out of the premises of the complex of the House of Assembly. After that incident, the governor also communicated in writing, signed by himself, to the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martins Amehule, to express his intention to come and represent the 2025 budget. What did they do? They adjourned sitting Senator. What does that tell you? It means that they have ulterior motives. But I'm not going into what they think, but let us look at the actions of the governor, if it actually represents compliance to the Supreme Court judgment. The governor complied by paying 5 million naira and he was fined. He has complied to that.
All right.
He was asked to pay that cost to the 27 lawmakers. The governor also went ahead to ensure that the issues about the monuments and all the amounts that were owed the house, he invited them to come for a discussion so that they can look at all the issues together, which they turned down. Rather, they went to the social media to try to castigate the governor to say that they refused to attend that meeting.
I hear you, Mr. Yubana. Let me bring Mr. Anene into this conversation. By the way, we heard from the spokesperson of the House of Assembly saying that adjourning Sinadai isn't the same thing as adjourning indefinitely, that it just means that they aren't quite sure of the exact date and that they're not being specific. They can be back tomorrow, it can be next week. It doesn't mean it is an indefinite adjournment, and that people are perhaps just getting or giving a wrong interpretation. But Mr. Anene, 2 letters, 1 visit. You heard Mr. Yubana saying the lawmakers are just stalling and that they intentionally do not want to receive the appropriation bill from Mr. Governor. And perhaps this is a way for them to kickstart officially an impeachment process. How do you react to this?
Good evening, Nigerians. Thank you for having me once again. Now, the less contestatus here is whether the governor followed the due process. Now, the governor alleged that a letter was written to the House of Assembly members in Rivers State, indicating to the fact that he will be coming to the Assembly to present 2025 appropriation. That letter was written by the Secretary to the State Government. That letter was not even acknowledged by anybody. Now, the honorable members who are willing to receive His Excellency and receive 2025 appropriation bill raised issues as to the procedure. Now, some of these analysts were saying the governor was right, anybody can write. The governor saw the inefficiency in that first letter and rescinded and wrote another letter. That letter was circulated in the pages of social media, and that letter was not acknowledged by anybody. Now, if you write a letter, official letter, to even this TVC station, it presupposes that at the point of reception, somebody must acknowledge the letter. That letter that was flying or that is flying on the faces of social media, let us see where that letter was acknowledged by anybody. Now, even if that letter was acknowledged, it is a reasonable man's expectation that should be a corresponding letter from the House indicating that the XYZ date that was indicated by the governor is convenient or not. These are the normal procedural details in administration. That was not done. Like the assembly member said, His Excellency is playing to the gallery. That is, for me, that is what is at stake here. Now, the issue that is at stake now is not even whether the governor is obeying the Supreme Court judgment or not. The issue is that Section 188, subsection 11, that the House of Assembly seeks to rely to recalibrate impeachment move, gives the House the latitude to determine what is impeachment, what is gross misconduct. If in their opinion that withholding of the salary of House of Assembly members amounts to impeachment conditions, so be it. Now,
we're going to get to that shortly, Mr. Anene. But just for clarity,
I'm coming. I'm trying to learn.
Just hold on. Just hold on a minute. We're going to get back to that. But you just mentioned that due process wasn't followed. We've seen this back and forth. Oh, we didn't get your letter. You didn't address us. What, according to law, is the way forward? Mr. Governor is saying, I'm willing to present the budget to you. Shouldn't the lawmakers now say this is the time we have that you should visit us to present this document? What's supposed to happen afterwards? Are we supposed to keep debating
like I said earlier,
the timing?
Like I said earlier, if I write to TVC, for instance, indicating that I'm willing to appear in this program, or I should be given airtime to appear in this program, it presupposes that my letter should be received, stamped receipt by somebody who is in charge to do so. That was not done. That is the due process we're talking about. There is no proof. There is no evidence indicating to the fact that the letter written by His Excellency was received by honorable members of Rivers State House of Assembly. And Rivers State House of Assembly cannot reply on a letter that is not before them.
All right.
A letter must be properly before them, and that letter must be read in the open house, in the hallowed chambers, to the hearing of the honorable members. The honorable members will raise issues, debate on the letters, and it will be agreed whether the date indicated by governor is convenient or not. If it's not convenient, there should be a written communication.
Indeed.
Back to His Excellency.
Hold that thought for a minute, Mr. Anene. Let me get back to Mr. Yobana. I'm wondering how you justify Governor Fubara's actions, which have now been accused of being, reckless and unconstitutional. You've seen the allegations in the notice of gross misconduct, including alleged seizure of salaries and allowances belonging to the lawmakers and its officials.
Well, the governor is a law-abiding citizen, and he has chosen the path of peace, the path of honor, the path of equity, and the path of justice in every action the governor has taken so far. Let us look at the actions of both parties. For instance, the Rivers State House of Assembly, the actions of these young lawmakers. What have they done so far? They have refused to cooperate. Since the judgment they got on the 28th of February, they have refused to cooperate with the governor. They have refused to acknowledge receipt of any communication from the governor. They just issue out warrants of arrest, threats, 24 hours, 48 hours ultimatum, and that's all they do. They have also said that the governor should sack the 19 commissioners, which has led the commissioners to go to court to seek redress on that. What are their actions? What are the consequences of their action? They should think about the ordinary Nigerians, the ordinary citizens in Rivers State. The Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Martin Mehule, has starved this state economically. The hardship they have brought on this state, including an inability for government to pay salaries to pensioners, workers, and other emoluments that are supposed to go to workers.
And I hear you clearly, Mr. Yobana. But that wasn't really my question. That wasn't really my question.
I'm coming to your question.
My question was about the content of this misconduct allegation. You don't think that it has substance in the position of the Supreme Court on these matters?
Well, there are procedures. If they allege, he who alleges have to, in law, like the lawyer is sitting down there, once you allege something against Marvin Yobana, you have to prove it. But the governor has the right to reply to whatever allegations they have leveled against the governor. And there are procedures if they want to impeach the governor, which has to be followed. Nobody will jump that those steps without following the right procedures. And the governor, let us not forget that Rivers State is a critical state to the economy of Nigeria, and nobody can toy with it. While we are saying this, as far as the governor is a law-abiding citizen and has decided to follow the path of peace, let us not forget or underplay the consequences of the actions of these lawmakers, and understand that the actions that they have taken will go further to impoverish the people. And
all right.
cost. Do you know that Rivers State is the second highest producer of petroleum product for the country?
I hear you,
So
Mr.
what
Yeboah,
happens
but
when
there's
they
a
cannot
way.
pay for essential services?
There's a way you make it
So-
sound as if Mr. Governor has a choice as to whether or not to obey the judgment of the Supreme Court. He's not just
No,
doing
the
the path
governor
of
has
peace.
complied
He is
fully.
compelled by the apex court to implement the decision that has been made. But I'll
Yes,
get back to
definitely
you.
He has.
Let me hear
He
from
is
Mr.
implementing
Anene
this.
quickly. Is it legally accurate to say that the House has now commenced the process of impeachment? And if that is true, does it stop the House from receiving, Mr. Governor to present the 2025 budget?
Yeah, if you read the Supreme Court judgment, it clearly stated on the face of it that there is no governance in Rivers State. That alone, if that alone constitutes an impeachable offense in the eyes of the State House of Assembly members, that is constitutional. For the first time in the history of our democracy, I've not seen where the Supreme Court of Nigeria, that's the apex court in the country, ruling that there is no governance, absence of governance in Rivers State, which means there is nothing existing as far as governance is concerned. So now, if you push it further to Section 188, Subsection 11, I cited earlier, of 1999 Constitution as amended, which gives the State House of Assembly members the latitude to determine what amounts to gross misconduct or gross violation of 1999 Constitution. The Supreme Court, in their wisdom, has held that there is absence of governance in Rivers State. Now, you are withholding the salaries. You don't need any press conference. You don't need any meeting. It's just like you are owing me. I say, pay me my salary or pay me my money. Your indebtedness to me. You are calling me for a meeting for us to discuss. What are you going to discuss? That is number one thing that the governor should have done. You are owing these members for a period of God knows how. You have not paid them. You are inviting them for a meeting. You wrote a letter. But I'm a practicing lawyer. I've written letters to so many establishments that choose not to accept. There is a way we do it, and the Excellency knows. If you want to send a letter to somebody you feel that he is not going to acknowledge your letter, you know what to do.
So it sounds like
the process you're talking about.
It sounds like you're saying
No.
the lawmakers intentionally are not receiving Mr. Governor because they want to start an impeachment process against him.
No. Like he said, Yobana said, he who asserts must prove. If you assert that the governor, that the House of Assembly members are inclined to not receiving your letter, you should prove it. There is a way you can send letter through courier services. You can send letter through so many mediums and show the evidence. I send it via hand delivery and it was rejected. I now send it through courier services. See the receipt, see my payment, see the steps I've taken to get this letter across to them. That was not done. But what His Excellency does, and that was why the House of Assembly members are saying, that is playing to the gallery. He will write a letter that's supposed to be a private and confidential letter to the House of Assembly members, and you find it on the faces of newspaper. You find it on the faces of social media. That's not all right, and we shouldn't be encouraged. Some of these correspondence are confidential correspondence, and they should be treated as such. Now, if the House has looked at Section 188, Subsection 11, or the ingredients of impeachment has been committed by Mrs. Governor, they can go ahead. And the issue in this case is whether due process has been followed. The Constitution did not define what is gross misconduct. Anything in the opinion of the state, if you read that interpretation section in Subsection 11, anything in the opinion of the members that constitutes gross misconduct becomes gross misconduct. And that position shall be followed. And what is the first step? The first step of impeachment is that a written allegation of misconduct shall be tabled by the members to the Speaker, indicating that XYZ offense has been committed by the offense by the said office holder. The governor shall receive this, and that notice of motion, that notice of impeachment, shall be signed by at least 1/3
I hear you
of
clearly.
all the members of the State House of Assembly.
Allow me to bring Mr. Yobana
And that is
in.
followed.
Mr.
Yes,
Yobana.
thank you very much. I listened very keenly to the lawyer making his assertion. It's as if passing a judgment on the actions of the governor already and saying that lawmakers have all the rights. And whatever they decide in their mind that constitutes gross misconduct, so shall it be. Well, in law, I'm not a lawyer, but I know that in law it's not so. It cannot be that. Because definitely anybody can allege. And these allegations are there in public view. So it is left, if this communication is made to the governor properly, it is left for the governor to reply to this. And the next step would follow. But having said that, let us look at the key issues here. You see, it is not enough for you to say that the governor did not officially write to them in the right way and he did not pass it through the right channels. What do we have in public domain? What are the clear issues? A Supreme Court judgment, did the governor agree to comply? The answer is yes. Did the lawmakers agree to cooperate with the governor's compliance? The answer is no.
Mr. Yobana.
Lawmakers have given access to the governor to come and present the budget like he was asked by the Supreme Court to do.
Mr. Yobana,
the answer is no. So
we have a very limited time. If you can hear me quickly. I just want to get your take on what you consider the way forward. You know, because the back and forth is strong. We can't exhaust it in this conversation. I'm wondering what you consider the way forward for Rivers State. How you think this crisis can be resolved?
For me, the way forward, and for many Rivers persons, because the governor has told the part of peace, is for the lawmakers to cooperate with the governor and ensure that they receive the budget so that pensioners can receive their salaries.
So you don't agree that there are political fences for the governor to mend? Some are saying it's as simple as visiting former Governor Wike and settling what appears a rift between both of them. That is perhaps a clear chance for him. I did not see former Governor Wike's name in the judgment that was delivered by the Supreme Court. So definitely, I'm not going to speak on that because I didn't see his name. But for me, the governor has tried all solutions. He has tried to resolve the political crisis between him and his friend and others and his leader, like he used to call him, and all that. But that is not the issue. The issue before Rivers people is that how will Rivers State survive? These are 27 elected House of Assembly members who were elected for good governance of the state. You're saying,
what are they doing now? They're impeding good governance in Rivers State.
But even Mr. Governor himself, even the
Supreme Court, I'm not sure that is what the Supreme Court asked them to come and do in Rivers State.
Even Mr. Governor himself has said that, several times that he is willing to go to any extent to ensure that peace, is the order of the day in Rivers. And, addressing the issue with the former governor is one of the reasons that one of the options that have been raised for Mr. Governor. But Mr. Anene, we have to go now. In a minute, I understand that people settle out of court. Do you foresee a political solution in this crisis? Is it still on the table?
Yeah, I have to clear something before a quick one. The Supreme Court judgment that said there is no governance in Rivers State is not my opinion. Section 88 subsection, Section 188 subsection 11 that says what the lawmaker determines to be gross misconduct is gross misconduct. It's not my opinion. Now, the people who are helping governors are people who are demarcating governors. Governors say there is no price too much for me to pay to make peace. Now, you ask him, if the governor can reach out to former Governor Nyesom Wike, that's a good way to go. The governors have made
Mr. Ezeogo Anene.
If that is the situation,
so that this matter should be settled.
Gentlemen, we have to continue this conversation subsequently. Marvin Yobana is former caretaker chairman for Kana local government area. I've also been speaking with lawyer Ezeogo Anene. Gentlemen, thank you so much for talking to us. You can watch it again at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nife.